Lee Walker, you're very welcome to the podcast AI6. I understand you're an avid listener.
I sure am. Yes, it's nice to be here.
Well, listen, I want to talk to you today about your company, your business, your innovation, your idea, and that is QuickWing. And first of all, tell us a little bit about you because you're not an AI builder by design, maybe accidental.
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled into this whole sphere sort of accidentally and kind of out of need. Um, my background is in home care, so I've worked for a pretty reputable home care company in Ireland, and part of my job once I moved into the office was coordination. So not just coordination of clients and staff, but also of the fleet. So we have a number of company cars. Now that job was shared between a number of us because, as people will know, trying to deal with a fleet of cars is pretty tricky and pretty time consuming. And it was messy spreadsheets and text messages from staff and emails and things getting lost all the time. So I sat down over Christmas just gone and I decided I wanted to learn how could I make any type of system that would make this task easier, make it more manageable, but all in the one place where things are not likely to get lost and missed. So just through Googling and asking the very basis of Chat GPT, what can I do? I stumbled across vibe coding and I
And
then began the journey.
And it's such an important story because the solutions that AI will create will be ideated and should be built by those people who are working in an industry day to day, who spot them and then who know what a perfect solution looks like. And that's why I love your story so much, because this is not about, getting tech people and engineers on. It's by getting ordinary people doing important work who identify a recurring problem that the technology could solve. So, what was your starting point after kind of chatting with Chat GPT and kind of brainstorming? How did it progress?
It became, it first became just, I just want a system that will let me monitor cars just so I can see at a glance where are they right now. Then it moved into, okay, how can I take the workload away from the office and make it so the carers are available or the staff are available to book cars that they needed. So then I asked the system that question, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? And then it became, I found some platforms online and I just started to prompt, please make this button. Now make this button. And then it was what I would say it was about 15 or 20,000 different commands or prompts to try and find some structure as to what I wanted this to look like. But I knew kind of on the set out, I needed visibility, I needed control from an admin standpoint and from a user standpoint, and it needed to be as simple as anything. Because as you say, I'm not a techie person. I mean, besides caring and the work I've done there, I come from a musical family. That's it. There's not very many layers to this onion. So I don't want to jump into the deep end too fast.
Mhm.
That's kind of how it got started.
And vibe coding. So, vibe coding is where we describe what we want to an AI system that has the ability to code right in front of our eyes. Because we're not coders by trade, neither am I, but I can vibe code what I want to build. And so we are instructing the model to code in real time what we want to build. And the vibing part of it is as you see it, then you realize, well, actually, how have you changed that button or added that to the dashboard? So it was very much back and forth, and it's very much you conversing, ideating, doing, and seeing and rebriefing at the same time.
Absolutely, in real time as well. And what
Mhm.
I think the biggest lesson I learned in it is be specific. If you want something and you want it to look a certain way or to behave a certain way, be specific. If you're any way vague, the AI will make its own idea of what it thinks you're trying to say. It'll interpret it itself, and it'll not be what you want. And it's exactly the barriers I came up to in this process.
Was there a particular vibe coding tool that you chose at the outset?
On the outset, I used a tool called Replit.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in Replit's very, very early stages. So I've seen Replit only recently again because I did go and change. And Replit was, to me, incredibly complicated to use. And I was going through lines of code that AI was writing for me, and then I was trying to copy and paste and put it into the system, and it wasn't coming out as I wanted. And it's excuse me, it's so frustrating because you can see it in your head what you want. It's starting to come about, but it's not getting there. And from there, I changed to Emergent, and Emergent was like night and day difference. It was night and day difference, and it became the foundations then for what has happened now and what has come about now. Um, it was phenomenal to see your input, as you say, in real time, change on the screen, adapt into what you want, and nearly become better at certain points.
And you know, what I love about this story and similar stories is that heretofore, before AI becoming mainstream, accessible, and affordable to all of us, we probably would never have put those ideas into practice because we didn't have the money, we didn't have the know-how, and we just wouldn't have the time because guess what? The day job pays the bills. And this is what I love to encourage everybody to do. So how long did it take you to get proof of concept or even beyond that minimal viable product that you could test in an operational setting?
Now, from the moment I sat down with the decision to the day I brought it here into the office, um, it was most definitely about a week of solid work. Now, that is also partly my fault because when I become obsessed with something, I become obsessed with something, and I need to learn everything I possibly can learn. How do I make a triangle different? How do I do this? How do I exchange something else for something else? So realistically, I think someone who has a clear idea what they want, a clear outcome for their project, I think it would only take them a couple of days for this to the scale of what I've done. For me, it became sort of fun in a testing ground. How can I change this to look like this? How can I create different systems within the system? So I kind of dove really into it. I didn't keep it surface level at all. Um, but I think the speed in which the system works and it's real time feedback to you also. How can maybe we could try this instead, or maybe we'll adjust this for some other function. They're very quick turnaround. So I would say I worked solidly for about 5 or 6 days on this, and then come January, brought it into the office and showed everyone. This is
And
the
then
basics.
mhm. And bring us into those days of using it in an operational environment. Did it work, or were you able to see gaps and tweaks that you needed to make?
Oh, it was a long time of tweaking. Oh, 100%. Because first of all, I've never done this before. This was 100% my first time to build any system, let alone a system that would function across, God, nearly two counties, I guess, in effect. Two counties across maybe 20 something staff with a similar number of vehicles, maybe more vehicles than that. And I found so many times where I'd built something and it wasn't fully connected. So, for example, we would use booking systems for cars. So you could go in, book a car, that's fine. But for things like real-time information on the car, maybe the QR codes that I generated hadn't been understood by the system. So therefore the info that was being sent in was just landing nowhere.
Mhm.
So then this became a problem I had to fix. Where is my info landing? Oh, it's landing here. Okay, instead redirect to here. but the system was able to help me with that. And it was able to recode or work on the back end for me and restructure through me just saying, hey, this isn't working. We need to fix this. So I would say the basis of it, the basics was within that first week. And then I spent probably 2 months fine tuning it, tweaking it every so often, fixing problems on the fly. And then it's become now to what it is.
And it's so interesting as you explain the story and your experience and the practice of using AI. I'm hearing the language of an AI builder that you didn't have before Christmas, you know, the fine tuning, the alignment with the business, the pilot operation, bringing it into to the office. What about getting it out of immersion? So you're there, you're building there. What did you think about, again, from leaving it there, hosting it there, or moving it? What does that look like for you?
So in all honesty, and for people who listen to this and realize, yeah, I'm kind of like leaning this way. I didn't even think about that. That actually didn't even cross my mind. I just thought, oh, great, I have this system and it works. And then I was sitting in the office one day and I got a text message from one of the staff and said, hey, I'm trying to book one of the cars and it's just coming up error. I thought, oh, great, something else is broken. I got to fix this now. Logged into everything and it's just, your app is gone. My app just totally disappeared. So what I had come to learn then from obviously the first few minutes of panic and then rewind was I'd actually put it on pause. Instead of editing something else, I somehow managed to press a different button and it paused the whole system. And I realized, okay, I need to have a way to deal with this a bit more safely. And I need to be more aware of what I'm doing. So I end up, and this would be a tip for anyone who starts any project like this, write everything down. This is my quick wing book. It has everything in it, from the first names that quick wing was possibly going to be, to, oh my God, never press that button again, to, oh no, that button was good, use that button a lot, So, that's a tip for anyone. Write everything down as you go. Keep a complete log. To move out of emergent, I don't know if you want to speak about the fact that we've spoken before as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I met with you and you were a really big help the day we spoke. And you sort of brought my attention to safety and security of what I built. I then went on to speak to a few other people who I know who have kind of a bit more of a mind for this stuff. And they helped me then to move it into my own hosting. So I use my own hosting platform and then to back it up using MongoDB and things like this. So it then went from very, very toothpick and sellotape to actually now it's pretty well safe and pretty secured, and it's hosted on its own thing and everything is okay. It's edited still in emergent, but it's not hosted in emergent anymore. Thank God.
Yeah. And when we're building, and you probably had no idea that you would create something that would add such value to a business, operationally, an accessibility point of view, efficiency, productivity. And that also is quite exciting. But now that you have something that's very tangible, very valuable, and that is being used, what are your ambitions? Like, where do you want to bring it?
First of all, I had no ambition for this aside from it's going to make life so much easier for us in the office and for the team as well, because the team are working really hard in the community. They don't need to be making 10, 15 phone calls, trying to organize transport, trying to organize cars, trying to organize this. The whole idea was make it simple for everyone and this will work. So I thought, great success, it's worked. Perfect. And then I just let it go and just let it do its thing. And I kept my eye on it and I just gave it a little tweak when it needed. And then it was through a conversation with someone else that I realized, oh, actually, this is really valuable. This is really scalable if I want it to be. So I now think it's the greatest piece of software ever written in the history of mankind. But I need everyone else to realize that too, because I do think it's functional to the point where it'll help other services. It would help any company, not just in my industry in care, but in um, let's say anyone with trades, so carpenters, plumbers, electricians with their own work vehicles, or it could go as far as the ambulance service with the guards, where it could really scale up to that point where it's a complete competitor to some of the bigger names out there. Right now, I'm sort of focused on the small to medium businesses with fleets. So I'm looking at the kind of 5 to 50 range at the moment, just so I can better, because I'm still learning the industry as I go. I'm also trying to learn that industry while I work full time, so it is a bit of a challenge. But I think it's incredibly scalable.
And 6 months has passed only since you decided to try and create a solution using artificial intelligence. This should be a lesson to people that AI is for everyone. It's not just for the elite. It is for absolutely everyone. And it doesn't matter what age you are, the level of technical expertise you have. If you are working in a sector that you've been working in for years and you've identified a problem, you're the best person to create that solution, because AI is very accessible. I teach AI in hours to people and they build. You have minimal viable product within a week, and you were already putting yourself down saying, well, it shouldn't have taken me a week, it should have only taken days. And it's a wonderful story. Apart from the big ambitions of to take this to broader market, where is your head at in terms of artificial intelligence itself? Because it's only getting better every day.
Yeah, I'm still at that. Well, I suppose everyone probably feels like this, but I feel like I'm the person who was meant to walk out stage right, and unfortunately, I walked out stage left to a huge audience, and I don't know the song. And it's kind of okay. I'll learn it as I go because I still need to be here. I was meant to go stage right. I was meant to not really be in this sphere until I was then given the reason to be, which was now what's led to here. So I still marvel at all this technology, all this AI, these GPTs that are being built, um, even AI automation. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. I connected. I've now that I've done this once, I've now started to test little things going forward. So I've tried to build my own virtual assistant to work purely just on my Gmail, because my Gmail inbox is crazy. So just give me my top 10 actionable I have to do right now. And I get a text message on WhatsApp from my AI assistant. And it tells me, like, Lee, I need you to go do this, this, this. And I'm like, oh wow, that's tech. It's not even a person texting me. It just boggles my mind. But so AI to me, it's not something to be worried about. It's something to embrace and to see how you can work in collaboration with it, or how it can better what you're trying to do for the outcomes of your own goals. That's kind of where I'm at with it now. And then still, I find something new and it just blows my mind.
And you mentioned the automation piece, and you could have agents working on quick win and identifying those breaks and identifying new opportunities. So again, the scale and the build opportunity by using AI on AI is just remarkable. You've done this all on your own, with your own time, your own money. Do you think that you'd look to, somebody like, the Leos or the Enterprise Irelands of this world, because you probably are in the high potential startup sphere, and I know you've got a day job that pays the bills, and that's important.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm thinking to look into. I sort of toyed with it at the time, and then the ball just started to roll so fast and so quickly that I just decided to just not go down that avenue straight away. But it's very much a possibility, very much a possibility. And just as you're saying there about agents, I'm so new to this whole thing that I don't fully understand what I could be doing with agents in terms of quick win. You may know. You may have a lot of answers for me that I'm yet to get, but I don't even know. That's how ever evolving or ever changing this technology is. That I know the tip of the iceberg.
Hmm. Well,
What you would know or other people would know could be so astounding.
I'm just going to drop that seed there with you. If whatever work you were doing on this, you could also have agents working on it and ideating. So think about it. You know what I mean? It's doing what it needs to do now, but again, that book, that pen and paper, everything that you're writing down, what's the next step, the team that are giving you feedback, all of that becomes part of the next steps. And the only way to know whether you've got something that works is to build it, pilot it, prove it, test it, and tweak and tweak and tweak. And you've done all of those steps. Yeah. And you figured it out along the way.
Absolutely. Oh my God, so many mistakes. But then you come to the other side of it where you realize, oh, that was really, really strong idea, or that was a really good way to prompt something or to tweak something. And it just takes a shape that you sometimes never expected.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have built a secondary system to QuickWing where it's now, how to describe it, it's like a duplicate QuickWing. And that's going to be what I run, or what it is when I'm running my business. So I now have its own, how to describe this, it's sort of its own system.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of its own system now. It's kind of its own operating system. And again, this sounds way more technically complex than I am. I can just about draw a stick man, Joanne. That's about it. So but this is the power of this software and technology. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
We are living through history, Lee, and you are building history, and it's remarkable. And even the fact that you're writing it down, like that's your own book that you're writing, because that needs to, this story needs to go out to empower other people. Obviously, it's my business, it's what I do, but you're the best person to tell a story of, here's where I started, here's what I've done, and here's how I learned, and it's for everyone. So keep writing it down and keep sharing it on in conversations like this. It's great. I know I knew what you were doing because you ticked the book a call button on my website and we had a 30-minute chat, and that was it. And you took the step, and now look, it's wonderful. So I mean, we're halfway through 2026. Where do you want to be in 12 months?
I've begun to engage in discussions with the company I work with about using this across the network. Across the network. Because I do feel like this product would be good for other offices who also have fleets of cars, not just other businesses. I would love to see QuickWing being used as a standard across my industry, and it providing the same level of function and automation. I mean, right now, as I sit here, QuickWing is now automating our car processes by 70%, which is, I can't even tell you how many hours it's saved our office. Like, that's a huge number. If anyone sits down and tracks their own car's compliances from NCTs to insurance to servicing, all the way down to cleaning, booking, where it is at any given time. For one thing alone, one car alone with spreadsheets, that's a good hour, 2 hours. we're doing this across 22, 34, 68 cars, depending on where we are. So now I have QuickWing being used in another office. And I want that in the next year, potentially maybe a bit more, it becomes the standard across the board for the company. And it saves every office this amount of admin time. And
There
then
you
from
go.
there, I want everything else too, because I do think this is great. I do think this could work for any service, not just healthcare.
What a way to end, because we always say when it comes to AI, what is the value that it brings? You've just answered that question. And that wasn't just a hobby or an idea in the moment. This is about bottom line value add right across the business, from productivity, accuracy, and then, that profit bottom line too. So Lee, congratulations
Thank you.
on being an AI builder. And I look forward to following your story with success.
Thank you so much. I feel like that's the biggest like imposter syndrome thing to ever say. Like, I'm an AI builder. I'm just a dude with a laptop who made a lot of mistakes, and I got a lot of things right too.
Well,
You know,
you tell me what we learned from getting everything right, and it's not very much.
it's not a lot.
It's not a
No,
lot.
and also thank you as well for your support, because when we met that time, I was starting to, I would sort of doubt things that I was doing with QuickWing and its build. Um, and people around me were saying, no, what you're doing is really good. Like, you need to sort of focus in a bit more of it and be a bit more serious about what it is. Because I just thought it was a tool that's going to help the office. It's great. It's perfect. But when I met with you that time, actually in this room, I sat here for about 5 minutes afterwards, and I thought, actually, yeah, this is really good. This is really cool. I need to, and I nearly had a panic attack with all the stuff that just came flooding to me. So your encouragement, enthusiasm was a huge part in the next steps I took. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for
Well,
the time that you gave me that day.
yeah, well, you're welcome. And that time is open to everyone. If you just go to digitaltraining.ie and book a call, there's 30 minutes free, no obligation. And the aim is that I pass it on. If I can pass anything on, I'm happy to pass it on. Where can people reach out to you if there's investors, businesses, journalists who want to talk to you? Where do you want to send them?
So I have a LinkedIn account is probably the best place to catch me for that kind of thing,
Yeah.
or quick-wing.com, and all the contact information is there.
You even
And
built
there's
a website.
I even built a website. It's no one is more surprised than I am. No one is.
Unreal.
It's yeah, it's there. It's a nice look. It's a very simple sort of website. It's got a lot of information and a very interesting return of investment calculator. So you can plug in how many hours a week you're using for admin, what's the hourly wage for this person doing admin, and then through my own metrics of the 70% automation, it'll show you how much you save if you use the software. So there is a financial saving to this too on your investment, but my God, time. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's a commodity we can never get back. Yeah.
But it's being automated, which is great. So yeah, LinkedIn, the website itself, or yeah, you'll catch me anywhere.
Wonderful. Well, Lee Walker of QuickWing, thank you so much for talking to me today. And I really hope this conversation inspires hundreds, if not thousands, of people to just get building with AI and try it out, because you never know. Thanks very much and well done.
Thanks, Joanne.